My girlfriend of 4 years came in the room to tell me she made my favorite kind of pie. She then asked, was I the asshole for saying my girlfriend would be the one I'd kiss for a smaller reward? Yesterday was my 24th birthday, and after a long day at work, I was unwinding by watching TV when my girlfriend of 4 years walked into the room with a surprise. She made my favorite pie. She then posed a question to me. Would I rather kiss her for $100 or kiss the hottest girl I know for $700? I took the question at face value and said I'd choose her for the smaller sum. My girlfriend got visibly upset, seemingly because I didn't call her the hottest girl I know. She stormed off to our room and has refused to talk to me ever since. I see this as a trick question, and I'm not sure why she's so angry. Was I the asshole in this situation? Edit. I should mention that we've been together for 4 years now, and I genuinely care about my girlfriend. I'm not sure why she's taking this so seriously. Update. I'm still trying to figure out what I did wrong. I thought it was a lighthearted question, but it seems to have caused tension in our relationship. I'm open to any advice or insights that can help me fix. Don't fill it out in blue ink. Sure, this is a more lighthearted example of malicious compliance, as it was literally done as a joke. So one of my teachers fills out some paperwork in light blue ink. Unfortunately, this did not photocopy well. The vice principal gave her the, "It seems I can accommodate that unusual request." This is an amusing instance of a lighthearted approach to malicious compliance. A colleague of mine had filled out a document in light blue ink, but unfortunately, it didn't reproduce well on photocopies. Our vice principal kindly returned the copy with a note stating, "Please refrain from using blue ink, as seen in this photocopied version." I happened to notice a yellow pen on the desk and made a lighthearted suggestion, saying, "Why not use that one instead?" My colleague thought it would be a funny joke, so she filled out the form in yellow ink and added a note that read, "I didn't use blue ink," accompanied by a smiley face. The vice principal found it quite amusing. AITA for not bringing coffee? I think this is a pretty simple scenario, but I am not sure, and my girlfriend is mad at me. I have been dating my girlfriend for 4 months. I was on my way to her apartment this past weekend and was running late. I am not a morning person, so am I the asshole for forgetting the coffee? I'm not sure if this is a trivial matter, but my girlfriend is upset with me. It's been about 4 months since I've been dating my girlfriend. I had plans to visit her at her apartment last weekend, but I ended up being behind schedule. Given that mornings are not my favorite time of day, I made a quick stop at Starbucks on my way to her place to grab a cup of coffee for myself. When I arrived, she got excited, probably expecting me to have picked up a cup for her as well. However, I informed her that it was just for me. She became upset, and even though we still spent the day together, I feel like my thoughtless mistake might have affected the overall mood of our outing. Am I the asshole for not bringing coffee without being asked to do so? I didn't commit suicide yesterday. I'm having a really rough patch in life, but today I'm proud of myself for having the courage to stay alive and keep going. Yesterday I was at an all-new low point and was ready to say goodbye to everything. I wrote a note to tell everyone it was. Yesterday, the darkness nearly consumed me, but today I'm standing tall. Life has been incredibly challenging lately, but I'm taking pride in the strength it takes to keep moving forward. Yesterday, I hit a rock bottom that felt unbearable, and I was at a point where I felt like surrendering to the pain. I wrote a note, hoping to ease the burden on those I care about, and I had a plan in place for what I thought was the end. However, the overwhelming emotions finally caught up with me, and I was able to break down, letting the tears wash away the desperation. And here I am, still standing, though my heart is heavy with sorrow. Edit. I want to express my gratitude to everyone who offered words of encouragement. They carry more weight than you might realize, and they've given me the courage to keep going. I pretend I'm asleep around my boyfriend. I discovered that whenever I fall asleep on call with him, sometime after, he'll give me a kiss and talk about how much he loves me. The first time I wanted to spring up and say, "Haha, I heard that. I love you too," but I felt so warm and A gentle deception in my relationship in recent times. I've found myself feigning slumber whenever my boyfriend and I are on a call together. It's only after I've dozed off that he tends to express his affection by giving me a gentle kiss and sharing how much he cares for me. Initially, I was tempted to wake up and respond to his sweet words, but something about his tender gestures left me feeling peaceful and content, and I found myself reluctant to break the spell. As I reflect on my relationship, I'm reminded of the immense love I have for my boyfriend. This is the first time I've been in a healthy partnership, and I'm struck by how kind and caring he is towards me. While I should perhaps be honest and acknowledge his affection, I must admit that I'm hesitant to shatter the illusion. So, I'll continue to pretend to sleep, allowing myself to be on the receiving end of his loving gestures, and bask in the warmth of our connection. My high school bully died today. Everyone is making the typical, "Rip gone too soon," posts on social media. I want to comment, "Rest in peace, asshole. Will never forget the day you punched me in the chest out of nowhere, then shoved my half-conscious body into my locker." A person from my high school past has passed away. Social media is filled with the usual sympathetic messages, but I'm struggling to muster up any condolences. I'm tempted to respond with a comment that reveals the truth about our troubled past. May they finally find peace, but I won't soon forget the time they ambushed me with a vicious punch and then threw me into my locker while I was struggling to stay conscious. Or the occasion when they locked me in a trash can, holding the lid over me for what felt like an eternity as I begged for mercy. I'm urging people to treat others with kindness and compassion, for their sake as much as anyone else's. This person's life came to a close, and I'm relieved that justice has been served in a way that's hard to ignore. There, I've unburdened myself. My small restaurant is up for a best sandwich thing on an online poll, and I know I shouldn't care at all, but I definitely want to win very badly. Doing my best to keep my cool about it, but I really want to see my name in the one slot. We are currently 3 out of 20. And I will mow. Despite its insignificance, my humble eatery, I Like Food in Ridgewood, Queens, has somehow become a contender in an online poll for the best sandwich. I'm trying to appear nonchalant, but the truth is, I'm intensely invested in this outcome. As the results stand, I Like Food ranks 3rd out of 20, and I must admit that I'm secretly itching to claim the top spot. While I'll likely maintain a facade of indifference for the time being, the reality is that I'm eager to see my name shine at number 1. I appreciate the kind words of encouragement from those who've reached out. Regrettably, I won't be sharing the poll link with the public. I'd prefer to have earned this recognition through genuine local support from our loyal customers, rather than relying on external influence. If you're curious about our spot, you can find us in Ridgewood, Queens. Edit none update none TLDRI Like Food in Ridgewood, Queens, is competing in an online poll for the best sandwich and is secretly eager to take the top spot. No unnatural hair color. Worked as a waiter at a restaurant a few years ago. I had the ends of my hair dyed green, and the regional manager repeatedly pressured me to dye it back or trim that bit. Eventually I shaved my entire head, which did remove the offending hair color. A dye dilemma with the workplace. A few years back, I was employed as a server at a restaurant. During my tenure, I had styled my hair with vibrant green tints at the ends. However, my regional supervisor frequently brought up the topic of dyeing my locks back to their natural color or cutting off the dyed sections. The persistent pressure eventually prompted me to take drastic measures. I completely shaved my head, effectively erasing the offending hair color. My store manager, a middle-aged man struggling with thinning hair, opted for a closely shaved head. Given that I presented as a young woman, the situation took on a different connotation, and I could sense a degree of discomfort emanating from him. Although they couldn't directly address the issue, my regional supervisor seemingly let it slide, only to remark humorously yet exasperatedly, "What's gotten into you?" during a subsequent encounter, effectively closing the matter. Edit. This story has been shared in various platforms, but its authenticity remains uncertain. Update. A similar situation was reported by another employee, who also had to deal with pressure from management due to their hairstyle. TLDR. A server faced workplace pressure to change their hair color, eventually leading to a drastic fire after almost 15 years because of a mistake found in an audit yesterday. At the end of the workday, I was informed not to come in today because during an audit they found a mistake I had made in 2011 when dealing with a 401k. I work in payroll in Ohio. They are not giving sudden termination after nearly 15 years. I received an unexpected call yesterday, just as I was leaving work, informing me not to return today due to an audit that uncovered an error I made in 2011 while handling a 401k in the payroll department. My 15-year tenure with the company has come to an abrupt end. As I navigate this difficult situation, I've learned that I won't be receiving any severance pay or paid vacation time. Given this unsettling development, I'm left wondering if there's anything I can do about having my accrued vacation time paid out. Update. I've been reviewing my employment documents, but I'm concerned about accessing the original paperwork I signed when I first started working, along with a copy of the employee handbook. Is it mandatory for the company to provide me with these documents? TLDR. After nearly 15 years in payroll, I was let go due to a 2011 error discovered during an audit. I'm seeking advice on whether I'm entitled to paid vacation time and if the company is obligated to provide me with certain employment documents. What do you mean I can't drive my car? I've been a mechanic my entire working life so far, and this is one of my favorite experiences. I had a customer come in complaining about a vibration. I put the vehicle on the lift and checked the front end. I found a nearly broken tie. You're telling me I can't drive my car? As a seasoned mechanic, I've had the pleasure of dealing with all sorts of situations, but this one takes the cake. A customer came into my shop, complaining about a strange vibration in her vehicle. I put the car on the lift to take a closer look and discovered the issue was more serious than she thought. A nearly broken tie rod and a faulty rack and pinion had left the passenger side front wheel hanging precariously by a thread. I warned her that it was not only a safety hazard but also a ticking time bomb waiting to cause a major accident. I presented her with the bill for the necessary repairs and advised her that it was unsafe to drive. But she was adamant that she needed to get on the road, and she asked me to put the car back together so she could leave. I politely but firmly declined, explaining that if the car broke down after I let her go, I could be held accountable. She became irate, threatening to call the police and claim I was trying to extort her. She even claimed that her cousin's brother knew someone with connections to the police department and I'd be arrested. Needless to say, she called the authorities and they arrived to assess the AITA for telling my wife and in-laws to fuck off after they told me to stop cuddling my daughter. I have 3 kids, 15F, 12F and 7M. My oldest has always been a cuddler, and that suits me fine because I am too. Recently my in-laws were over, and we were all watching a movie together. Should I be in the wrong for telling my family to leave after they questioned my parenting? I have 3 kids, a 15-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old son. My eldest daughter has always been a cuddler, and I've grown accustomed to her affectionate nature. Recently, my in-laws visited, and we watched a kids' movie together as a family. My 15-year-old daughter was bored and tired, so she decided to snuggle up to me during the movie. After the film ended, we sent the kids to their rooms and continued chatting. The evening was relaxed, with some wine being consumed, although I remained sober. During a lull in the conversation, my father-in-law made a comment about me being too affectionate with my 15-year-old daughter. To my surprise, my wife and mother-in-law agreed with him. I have a strong bond with my in-laws, and I consider them close friends. However, when they questioned my parenting, I felt it was essential to stand my ground. In a moment of frustration, I told them to leave and mind their own business, and retreated to bed. This was an uncharacteristic outburst for me, but Tifu by sending my kids to school with bruises. When I picked them up from school today, I was requested to go to the principal's office. First thing I thought was, what the hell did my dumbass kid do this time? stroll on in only to find out that the administration was concerned. A blunder of a different kind. I arrived at the school to collect my kids, only to be summoned to the principal's office. I couldn't help but wonder what mischief my children had gotten themselves into this time. As I entered the office, I was greeted by a concerned expression from the administration. It seemed my kids had been spotted with various bruises on their bodies, which sent my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. I mentally prepared myself for the possibility of a visit from Child Protective Services. However, I quickly clarified the situation. My kids are avid practitioners of jiu-jitsu and have been intensifying their training since the COVID-19 restrictions were lifted. They had been engaging in vigorous physical activity, resulting in the visible marks on their bodies. Fortunately, the conversation turned out to be an opportunity for the school to exercise caution and possibly help identify any cases of neglect or abuse. I was grateful for their diligence and concern for the well-being of my children. TLDR. School mistook my kids' jiu-jitsu bruises for signs of physical abuse. TIFU by going to bed drunk. So last night I went out as I do every Saturday. When I got there I met up with my friends and started the night with a couple of beers, but ended the night with a bit more than I could handle. After that I went straight home and instantly fell asleep. Saturday nights have their price. Last night, like every other Saturday, I met up with my friends at the local hotspot. What started with a few casual beers quickly escalated into an evening I'd rather forget. As I stumbled home, my plan was to merely rest on the couch, just for a moment. Before I knew it, I had dozed off. When I awoke around 5 a.m., my right arm felt stiff and numb, refusing to budge. Initially, I attributed it to sleeping with my arm under my head, a habit I sometimes fall into. However, this time my arm was pinned under my body's side, with my back pressed against the couch's backrest. As the numbness persisted, I enlisted the help of my parents. My mom, who's a doctor, promptly advised us to rush to the hospital. At the hospital, my condition slowly improved over the 2-hour wait. Nevertheless, my fingers and wrist remained somewhat impaired. After undergoing nerve tests, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, I anxiously awaited the results. The doctor eventually returned with the diagnosis. I had damaged a nerve in my hip, likely due to my awkward sleeping position. The prognosis wasn't optimistic. I'd probably never be able to TIFU by letting my pregnant wife find out what submarines are really all about. So, the obligatory. This happened before my wife recently gave birth to our second child, and hormones were off the charts. My very pregnant wife wakes up and I am already awake, having made cough. I managed to botch things with my pregnant wife by sharing the harsh truth about submarines. It happened prior to my wife giving birth to our second child, when her hormones were in a state of chaos. I had already gotten up and prepared coffee for myself, as well as tea for my wife. As I sat there watching a PBS documentary about World War II submarines, she joined me with her tea and began to watch as well. Although my wife isn't particularly fond of history, I've been making an effort to fill in the gaps for her. However, it appears she had a lackluster experience with her history teacher and never quite grasped the concept of submarines being war machines designed to inflict damage. As I looked over at her, I was taken aback by the tears streaming down her face. She looked devastated, saying, "But I thought submarines were used for exploration and leisure, not for something so sinister." I attributed her reaction to hormonal fluctuations, but I had, in fact, ruined an otherwise peaceful morning. TLDR, my pregnant wife was emotionally shaken after learning about the darker side of submarines. Edit. It seems the situation escalated overnight. I'd like to extend my gratitude to those who empathized with the challenges of pregnancy brain and found this experience rel TIFU by dating my cousin for 5 months. You hear this story millions of times of people unknowingly hooking up with their relatives and finding out about this atrocity in the most awkward ways, and mine was no exception. Even had to create a new account cause it is so embarrassing. The family fiasco. A tale of unintentional relatives. You've likely heard stories about people unwittingly dating their distant relatives, only to discover the truth in the most cringe-worthy ways. Mine's no exception, and I've had to create a new account to avoid the embarrassment. I met a guy on Hinge with captivating hazel eyes, and I thought I'd found the one. After exchanging a few messages, we decided to go on a date, and before long, we were a couple. We spent about 5 months together until the bombshell dropped. We were related. As young adults living away from our families, we hadn't had the opportunity to meet each other's parents yet. Instead of the traditional, bring them home, introduction, we decided to have a dinner with both our families. You can probably guess where this is headed. To cut to the chase, we took our families out to dinner, and when my father stood up to introduce himself to his mother's sister, my boyfriend's aunt, his face turned ashen white. It took her a moment to catch on as well. Given the vast distance between our families, it was a chance encounter that our parents hadn't seen each other in about 30 years. I am no longer divorcing Roger. There were complications from his heart attack and he has passed away. I am conflicted. He was the love of my love but also a cheating piece of TR. A difficult inheritance. Confronting Roger's affair and its aftermath as I navigate the complexities of my late husband Roger's estate, I am faced with a daunting decision regarding the child he fathered with his mistress. His passing, due to complications from a heart attack, has left me with mixed emotions. While he was the love of my life, his infidelity has left a painful scar that I struggle to reconcile. The child's mother, who is currently abroad, seems unlikely to return and take custody. In the meantime, the grandparents have expressed concern for the child's well-being and have sought my input on the matter. I have suggested that they consider placing the child up for adoption, but this proposal has been met with resistance. My own children have also expressed their disapproval, labeling my suggestion as cold and heartless. They argue that I should take a more empathetic approach, but I believe that since the child is not biologically related to me, it's the grandparents' responsibility to step up and care for their own flesh and blood. Given my status as the sole beneficiary of Roger's estate, I anticipate that lawyers will become involved in determining the child's financial support. I am willing to comply with any court-ordered arrangements. AITA for demanding the same Christmas present my stepbrother got? I sound like a real asshole, but I've completely lost my mind over this. I'm 17 and my stepbrother is 17. We both have our driving license. I just found out 5 days ago that my dad and stepmom bought a used car. Am I the asshole for expecting equal treatment at Christmas? I'm utterly bewildered and my anger is boiling over. My stepbrother and I are both 17 and have our driving licenses. We've just discovered a huge discrepancy in our Christmas gifts. I found out 5 days ago that my dad and stepmom purchased a used car for my stepbrother, while they only gave me a $600 gift card to Best Buy. At first glance, $600 seems like a substantial amount of money, but it pales in comparison to the car my stepbrother received. I genuinely feel that this is an unfair and unjust situation. I'm so furious that I've moved in with my mom full-time. My dad claims to be genuinely sorry and is currently searching for a car for me, but it may take some time. I've responded by saying that I'll reevaluate our relationship once he shows that he's willing to be fair and equitable. My stepbrother messaged me, advising me to calm down and offering the use of his car. He also urged me to stop complaining and ruining everyone's holiday season. I shot back, telling him to leave me alone and get back in his car. Am I the asshole? TIFU by being accidentally racist. So this happened 2 days ago and I am still cringing. Recently I've taken an interest in chess and my school runs an after-school chess club for beginners, so I thought I'd go along. So anyway, here I am about to play my first game of chess ever. Chess catastrophe. A lesson in unintended racism. It's been 2 days and the memory still haunts me. I recently discovered a passion for chess and my school offers an after-school chess club for beginners, which I thought I'd join. I took my seat at the board, eager to play my first game. My opponent sat across from me, and I should mention that my opponent was of African American descent. The chess instructor began. The first rule of chess is that the whites go first. As I pondered this, I thought, that does seem somewhat discriminatory. However, considering the game's age, I rationalized that the rule might be rooted in tradition. With that in mind, I moved a pawn forward and looked up, expecting my opponent's response. Instead, I was met with a mixture of confusion and shock, accompanied by laughter from the onlookers. It took me a moment to grasp the issue at hand. "Oh, you meant the pieces," I muttered sheepishly. The instructor nodded, but it was too late. The damage was done, and I had inadvertently offended everyone in the room. Dr. Whites going first in chess refers to the pieces, not the players. TIFU, by communicating with my wife, you know how one of the most important parts of a healthy relationship is communication. That thought was on my mind this morning when I woke up next to my wife. The morning sunlight made her skin glow with an aura I'm sure one could only see. Relationship fumble in any strong partnership. Effective communication is essential for long-term success. I was reminded of this as I awoke to a serene morning with my wife beside me. The warmth of the rising sun cast an ethereal glow on her skin. Getting out of bed as quietly as possible, I attempted to preserve the peaceful atmosphere. However, my desire for closeness eventually took over, and I gently positioned myself beside her. As I rested my head next to hers, my gaze locked onto her captivating blue eyes, even though they were still closed. The tranquility of the moment was palpable. It seemed my presence roused her, and her eyes gradually opened. The gentle smile she offered in response was a beautiful sight to behold. I smiled back, feeling grateful for the serenity of the moment. But then, my thoughts turned to communication, a crucial aspect of any relationship. I decided to express my concern, only to let it slip out in an unfortunate manner. "You never let me snuggle up close to you at night because I'm worried you'll inadvertently fart on me," I confessed. The aftermath has been silent. I, 38M, just found out that my brother, 19M, has been perving on my wife, 37F. Throwaway cause I'm still the only one that knows background. My brother has been staying with us since lockdown, after his university closed. He couldn't stay with our parents cause they just sold. I've recently discovered a disturbing truth about my brother, who's been living with my wife and me since the start of the pandemic. The 19-year-old had been staying with us after his university shut down, as our parents had just relocated to a smaller apartment and our sister is based elsewhere. We've been kind enough to accommodate him in our 5-bedroom home. Despite not having children yet, we plan to adopt 2 kids in our 40s. My brother has always been a bit of a loner and is more comfortable interacting with his online community. He's a shy and introverted individual, but I thought I knew him well. What I stumbled upon has changed everything. One night, I caught him browsing through compromising images of my wife on his laptop, which he quickly closed when he saw me. The next day, I decided to snoop and found evidence of his behavior. I discovered a collection of intimate photos of my wife, taken without her consent. He even documented his own self-indulgent activities, often involving images of my wife. The most disturbing part is that he's been secretly listening in on our intimate moments. I was too shocked to react at first, but what I found was absolutely appalling. I feel like I need a shower after TIFU by not opening a gift for 1.5 years. This actually happened some time ago, but thinking about it is still quite painful. I was in uni and made friend with this really cute girl in my senior year at an event. We got on well and I was really thinking about asking her out, BU. A painful reminder of a missed opportunity. Reflecting on my past mistakes is often a humbling experience, and this particular incident still brings a wave of regret. During my university years, I had the chance to meet a charming classmate at a social event. We quickly formed a strong bond, and I found myself drawn to her. However, with graduation looming and her potential return to her home country, I decided to maintain a platonic relationship to avoid adding emotional complexity to our goodbye. As we said our goodbyes, She presented me with a thoughtful gift, a beautifully crafted box of homemade chocolate. The gesture was both touching and emotional, as I knew it was a symbol of her appreciation for our friendship. In a moment of hesitation, I chose not to open the box, largely due to its sentimental value and the beautiful craftsmanship that had gone into creating it. I rationalized that it was a small, seemingly insignificant decision, and I didn't think it would make a significant impact on her life. Months passed, and we parted ways. She returned home, started a new relationship, and eventually married. Meanwhile, I continued with my own life, meeting new people and forming new connections. It wasn't until I was cleaning my fridge years later that I AITA for telling my daughter she cannot introduce her African American boyfriend to her grandparents. Let me just preface this by saying this: I have absolutely no problem with interracial relationships. Now that the air is clear, let me continue. My daughter, Anna, has resin. Should I be judged for stopping my daughter from introducing her African American boyfriend to her grandparents? Before proceeding, let me make it crystal clear that I have no reservations about interracial relationships. Now that I've set the record straight, let me explain my perspective. My daughter, Anna, has recently begun dating an African American man, Jamal. Although I'm not typically considered open-minded, Jamal seems like a good person, and I'm content as long as Anna is happy. The problem is Anna is naive about the local community's views. While some people are accepting of their relationship, there are those who whisper disapprovingly, and a few have privately expressed their concerns to me. Given the prevailing attitudes, I'm aware of the potential backlash. My parents are planning to visit us for a week, and Anna expressed a desire to introduce Jamal to them as things became more serious. However, I firmly told her that wouldn't happen. I know my parents would be disapproving of the relationship, and if Anna were to introduce Jamal to them, they might react negatively.